I want you to be thinking we have more baptisms coming at the end of service. Maybe you've never been baptized. We know that baptism doesn't save you. We know that it's a beautiful, beautiful picture of what the Lord has already done on your heart. Romans 6 talks about it. We talk about being buried in the waters of baptism and raised in his resurrection. And I know of one person that's already made a choice today that's going to be baptized at the end of the service that didn't plan on being baptized. Thank you for your church, wherever you're at. Maybe there's another person in here. We have shorts that will fit you. And we have a t-shirt. You get to keep the t-shirt. Nice hard t-shirt. But if the Lord's moving upon your heart, and you want to be baptized today, as we go through the rest of the service, just stand up and let Deacon Jim know. He's right over there at the opening. I want to take a moment and talk with my friend Mitch. When I came into Christ Life Community, which was New Vision Smyrna, 6 years ago, something like that, I knew that church could be complicated, and just really reached out to God and said, hey, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to focus on? And he gave me two things. He said, love well and protect unity. And the call hasn't changed. Love well, unify, in the kingdom. I just want him to share his story a little bit, and just start wherever you want.
I really wish Kendall was here for this. She's at home with Easton. He's sick, so there's nothing going on between us before everybody gets that impression. So I talked last Sunday, and the Holy Spirit had moved me to a place to come up and talk last Sunday, and I kind of thought that was just going to be the end of it, and I'd carry on with my week, but it was just like one thing after another, and it's like I had some time to sit down and replay the conversations that were going on inside of me on Sunday that brought me to this point of really just revelations where God has just opened my eyes, and not just in my marriage, but within this church, within this community, take it as big as you want. But just to kind of give you the mindset that I was in on Sunday is there was that blue line, and I looked at it as a division within our church. And on a more personal level, I saw it as a division between me and my wife. And leading up to that, I touched on some of it last week as well, but leading up to camp, Kendall had been so involved with the women's group here and so involved with getting prepared for camp, and she helps on Wednesday nights, and I stay home and watch the kids so she can do that. And I kind of feel like the trade-off is, I go to work every day and she stays home with the kids, so we see it as 50-50. And in the middle of service, in the middle of them worshiping, I was watching my wife literally lose herself in worship. And me and my wife, I feel, and any spouse, anybody has children or anything, I feel like when you have that connection with somebody, that you're so close with somebody, you can just look at them, they know you're looking at them, and they'll look at you as well. And so I just kept looking at the back of Kendall, and I said, please turn around. Please turn around. I just need you to acknowledge that I'm back here, and that I feel alone. And she didn't. And it was at that moment where I felt Satan tell me, you're losing your wife, you're losing your family. And then I felt God step in and the Holy Spirit tell me, your wife is falling in love with me more than she's falling in love with you. And it just like hit me like a ton of bricks, and I felt sick to my stomach because it forced me to look at my own walk with Christ. And my wife isn't going to lead me to salvation. Scott's not going to lead me to salvation. Nobody in this church is going to lead me to salvation. And it's solely going to happen through my pursuit and love for Christ. And within that, I confess that I love my wife and I love my children, but I love them more than I love Jesus, because my life would look radically different right now if it was the other way around. And that's what's happening in this church is there are people who are falling in love with Christ more than they're falling in love with themselves. And I was locked in a room with Patrick Hamilton for a morning painting, and I don't know if it was the fumes or what, but listening to a kid who's 20 years old, and I think about where I was at 20 years old, and it was like, I want to do this, I'm going to play sports, I'm going to get a scholarship, I'm going to have a great job, I want a family, I want this, I want that, I want. And Patrick struggles with whether or not he's going to do homework or not because he can't wait to get home to get in the Word. And there's so much of that going on within our church that those of us that are feeling left behind or left out, just to get real with you, we have to look at ourselves, and we have to see if we are holding those back that are in the pursuit of Christ. Because at the end of the day, what the Holy Spirit's going to do, the Holy Spirit's going to do, and we're not going to have any choice in it. So the only thing that we can do is come up under that grace and come up under that the gospel of Jesus and pursue Him in order to create that unity. And so again, I go, okay, how am I going to create unity with my wife, and how am I going to create unity within my family again? And it was just like God was like, just seek me. Don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about your job. Don't worry about your kids. Don't worry about your wife. Don't worry about any of that. Just seek me, listen for me, and you're going to fall in love with your wife again. And so it just has challenged me to look at that throughout the church too. And it's just crazy this week that I've heard many different people say, I felt left out. I feel left out when there's my spouse goes on mission trips, or I feel left out when my spouse is doing something else in the church. And so I challenge those people to take a step back. And it's going to look different for every couple, so I can't blanket this, and I'm not going to blanket it. But I challenge those couples to sit down and really look at where each other is in that walk. And maybe somebody does need to step back, but at the same time, maybe it's the fact that some of us need to let go of those relationships that we have with our spouse and increase the relationships that we have with Jesus in order to get closer to those people. And that falls in line with the church as well. So it broke my heart that there was just a dividing line within our church. And if you have a problem with this church, if you have a problem with somebody, go talk to them. If you don't feel comfortable talking to them, go to Scott, go to Ben, go to Michael, go to a deacon, go to somebody and get it out there. Because this church is full of real people, and that's why there is this division right now, because God is moving in this church. And I told Scott earlier this week, I said, I hate coming here. Because it really challenges me to the core, and I feel uncomfortable on Sundays, and I feel like God is making me get out of a comfort zone. So with that being said, if you're here and you're part of this church, look for ways to seek Christ so that you can create unity. And that may be with a small group, that may be helping out, volunteering, that may be just you and your wife, you and your spouse sitting together and studying the Word together. I don't know what that looks like for you, but it has to happen. And I've also told Scott, I said, at the end of the day, if it's you and me staring at each other and everybody else in this church has left because it wasn't real or it wasn't authentic and it's not a Christ-seeking church, I said, then so be it. And that's all this needs to be. That's why I keep showing up on Sunday. That's why these people keep showing up on Sunday. That's why you hear testimonies like Kevin. That's why you have college kids like Patrick Hamilton and Jacob Sharp and all these people within our church. It's because of the gospel. It's not because of Scott. It's not because of anything other than Jesus Christ. And the moment it becomes anything other than that is when what we're talking about, Satan will come in and divide it.
Really,